That's my baby. I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
It's Monday night, everyone. The Sports Hounds are live exclusively on A2DRadio.com. I'm Rob Brinkman. He's Brad Ryer. Frank Vesby is producing the show. As always, the Sports Hounds are brought to you by He's Our Doc. Make him yours too. Dr. Paul Vidal, specialized physical therapy. Like I said, he's A2D Radio's doc. Make him yours too. Also brought to you by Body Check Wellness, a line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extracts, blends, and gummies and topicals. Use the promo code A2DRadio for 20% off. Many of us and our families deal with mental health and addiction issues. We are happy to support the Counseling Center at Sunrise Detox. If you need mental health therapy or addiction detox, please call 856-651-8117 and tell them Tom sent you. Tell them A2D Radio sent you. It's tough times out there. Starting to get back, rebounding from the pandemic. There's no shame in asking for help. Check out the Sunrise Detox Center if you need such assistance. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Twitch. You miss anything here on ATD Radio, download us in podcast form. Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Takeover Talk. Takeover Talk real. We got a Sixers show tonight. It's Game 4, our poll question night. Brought to you by PhillyDrinkers.com. Get all your A2D merchandise, like my shirt right here, at PhillyDrinkers.com. Click on the A2D radio selections. Board shorts, bathing suits, T-shirts, tank tops, sunglasses, coffee mugs, anything. Takeover Talk. Buy some shit. Tell your friends about it. Let's go. We got Game 4 tonight. Poll. I'm going to kick it to you, Brad Ryer, because I got a lot to say about the Sixers. I don't know how I feel about this game tonight. I really don't. I know it's easy to just say, oh, they won, they lost Game 1, and then they rebounded in Game 2, but I really don't think it's that simple. I think the Hawks started to make some adjustments in Game 3. I think that the Sixers countered with some good adjustments. I think the Sixers have way more talent. I don't think that can be disputed, and Joe has missed no games with his meniscus. So, Brad, to the poll question, the Philadelphia 76ers will go up 3-1 against the Atlanta Hawks.
No, I don't think so. I think this is a all-hands-on-deck game for the Hawks. I think they're going to be the desperate team tonight, and they're going to win a very close game tonight. If the Sixers won easily, I'd be a little surprised, to be honest with you. I do think the Sixers are going to win the series. I think they're a better team, but I do think the Hawks are going to win tonight. I think this is going to be their all hands on deck, thank you to the fans kind of game.
My God, I thought you were going to agree, so then now I'm even more nervous.
Well, don't underestimate the Hawks. It's not like, the Hawks are not a bad team. They're
not a bad team, but they're not a very good team. Stop it. They're not a very good team.
They're pretty good. They're not.
They have guys who can get you if they get hot and everything goes right.
Absolutely.
But
and
if you look at this,
I think Clint Capella is going to have to stand up and really give Joel Embiid, make him really work for his points.
But he can't. He's not capable of doing it. Is the only problem.
Joe can have a bad night. You never know.
He can't do it for 48 minutes, however many minutes Joel Embiid's going to play. No, Clint Capella can't.
Joe only does it for about – he's been only averaging about between, 31 and 33 minutes a game. So, look, the Hawks have to figure out a way to slow him down. If he goes nuts again – and he's dominant in the paint defensively, the Hawks are going to be through. They'll lose tonight, and then they'll get splattered on in Game 5. I just think that the Hawks know that this game is it. If they don't,
what's the line? What's the line tonight?
Don't know.
Anyone in the comments? Frank, do you have the line? Log on. Let me get the line. But let's look at this series a little logically. I know I'm not the most logical Philadelphia sports fan ever, but that's the way I live my life. That's the way I talk about sports. That's the way I live my life. I call things like I see him, as I see him. I'm shocked at Joel Embiid. I'm proud of him for playing. I didn't think he was ever going to play a game again this season after he tore his meniscus. Good for him. And you look at this series logically, basically everyone in game one got the news that Joel Embiid was going to play. Everybody gave a big sigh of relief and took their foot off the gas.
Absolutely.
They got down by 27, and they couldn't come back. So you lose game one at home, which didn't leave a good taste in my mouth at all. Game two, that game on paper looked like a blowout. I think that game was much closer than the final score indicated. You need 14 points out of nowhere from Shake Milton to salt the Hawks away, so to speak. Then you go to game three. It's a competitive game in the first half, and then we got what Sixers fans have been pleading for from Ben Simmons in the second half. He played basketball like a bat out of hell. He was super aggressive, and the Sixers pulled away. There's Joel Embiid. That's a miss. I'd like to see him get in the block more. I would like to see him get in the block and then extend out to shoot those mid-range jumpers and those three balls that he likes. You got to rotate better on defense there as well. See, now Ben Simmons should take it to the hole right there every time. Like, what is that? What does that take? Come on, Ben. And then
and I think that they will probably look to the Hack-a-Ben theory tonight. Get him to the foul line where he's a butcher. And
he's a butcher. And by the way, Brad, sorry to interrupt, but that line being 3, that tells me all I need to know about the game. The Hawks are going to win tonight.
Well, I think that they are because, as I said, I think this is the all-hands-on-deck game. I think the fans will really be into it. And I think they'll show a little bit more desperation.
I'm not liking this offense early on. I know it's only 2 minutes in the game, but I need Joe to do that stutter step and then take it to the rack. That's a good rebound by Joe. So, I mean, we're in for a tough one. 2-0 Atlanta. There he is. He missed, but I like that take. That's what you need to see from Ben Simmons. Aggressive Ben, getting good looks, and for him to make his foul shots. By the way, Brad, can you believe that Ben Simmons isn't the Defensive Player of the Year? I know everyone's up in arms because Joel Embiid.
Who won the Defensive Player of the Year?
Rudy Gobert.
I mean, look, I haven't seen enough of him to really be able to make a fair comment. I know Ben Simmons is a very good defensive player. So,
Brad,
look, you know what? It doesn't really matter who wins these stupid awards. These awards don't mean anything if you don't win the championship. I mean, you got to look at it this way. And I mentioned it in Facebook today. Stop worrying about who wins these dumb awards. I would
have won like $200 if Ben won the Defensive Player of the Year. Like
that I can understand. But I mean, look, it's not all. It's about winning the game. It's about winning a championship. This team is built to win a championship this year. Okay.
Well,
at very least, they got to go to the finals, especially with the fact that Brooklyn has all these injuries now, and they look like they're vulnerable. I don't think that Milwaukee can beat Philadelphia in a 7-game series. They've never been able to prove that they can really handle Philadelphia in a 7-game series. So I mean, right now it's there for the taking. There is absolutely no excuse for them not to at least get to the finals. I mean, if you have a bet on them to get to the finals,
I do.
You could pretty much put that in the safety deposit box and just wait because you're going to cash.
I do. I think I bet $25 on them at the beginning of the season with 9-1 odds
to get to the finals
to win the East. They don't have to win the championship. They just have to win the East.
Yeah, because I think they may if they have to play Phoenix. I think they'd have a hard time. I don't think they'd have a hard time with anybody else in the West. If Phoenix could give them trouble because Phoenix has so many weapons. But right now we're not. You don't worry about Phoenix. They may not even get there.
I can't even think about Milwaukee right now because they're going to beat the Nets because the Nets are injured because James Harden is a big wimp. And
He might play. He actually might play.
yeah, but he's gonna come up small. He's gonna come up small when it matters
He'll come
most.
up
That's why I
injured.
can't buy. That's why I can't buy into the Suns, because Chris Paul comes up small time and time again in every big spot he's in.
You
James
never
Harden,
know.
Chris Paul, I
There could
can't do it with
there
him.
could
I
be-
can't
there
buy
could
into
be-
him.
There could always be a first time. I mean, that's
the next time will be the first time.
true. But you know what? You never know. You never know. That's the beauty of it. I mean, could they be small? Yeah, they could.
But
Absolutely.
I mean, we both disagreed to our poll question. I know a lot of people are flying in. We're gonna get to everyone's comments soon, but both of us disagreed to the poll question. We both got Atlanta tonight.
I don't think they're going to win tonight. But I do think they're going to win the series.
I understand. But you lose But you lose tonight. It's 2-2. It's best of 3.
Right. Yeah, but 2 games are in Philly, and I do think that Philly will show
but
the desperation.
Atlanta already won a game in Philly, Brad.
Okay, that was game 1. What happened in game 2? They
didn't slaughter them. They didn't. The final score did not indicate how competitive that basketball game was.
Yeah,
because if it wasn't for Shake Milton coming out of nowhere, the Sixers might be down 0-2 after 2.
They won. They put on they put down the hammer in the third quarter of the last game.
Very late in the third quarter. Shake Milton hit a buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter and then didn't miss a shot the whole fourth quarter. So you win the game. And then aggressive Ben showed up in game 3, so you won.
You have guys that can come off your bench and spark your team as well.
Well, that's another thing with the Sixers. That's another thing with the Sixers right now. They're short a starter. Danny Green is out 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks with a significant calf strain. He's been a starter. I don't think it's that big of a deal either, but it's only going to be not that big of a deal if Matisse Thybulle and Shake Milton and Furkan Korkmaz can continue to step up and fill that void. Danny Green's a very good player. He's been a very good player for this team all season long. He's been, statistically speaking, the Sixers starting 5 with Ben, Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid, statistically speaking, is one of the best starting 5 in the National Basketball Association. So you take that away. Now bench guys got to play out of their element, out of their role. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
It's not like you're not losing one of your top 3 stars. I mean, you're basically losing a guy who's more or less a role player level. He's not.
He's your 4th best player, though. How's that not a big deal?
That's not a major factor to lose your 4th best player. You still have the big 3, your big 3 out there, and you know what they should be able to score enough points, and they're all good defensively. I mean, basically, what they've got to do is not let Trey Young penetrate.
This lob is killing me, Brad.
Well, that's
a really is that
was a beautiful setup they just had just now.
I think that's Furkan in the game.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Hawks down the court, and the Hawks can't let that happen.
Who started the game? The game? Furkan start? Anyone have that?
Well, right now, the way the Hawks are shooting threes, the Sixers are going to have to tighten up on their D.
Well, Bogdanovic doesn't miss. Herter doesn't miss. Like, they don't even have their shortest starter in DeAndre Hunter as well.
That could have been an offensive foul, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, that's a flop. That's a flop all day if I've ever seen. I don't even need to see a replay. It's a flop all day.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, they got lucky. Go get it. There you go.
There's an easy basket.
There you go. Turns defense into offense. That's the kind of Ben Simmons we need. If Ben Simmons isn't aggressive, these games are up for grabs. What I've seen the first 3 games is not – no one's really making shots right now. Both teams are kind of ice cold, but – if you're sitting there and you want to tell me as a Sixers fan that you think they're far and away going to win this series, that there's no doubt in your mind they're going to win this series, I think you're out of your mind. Like, I really do.
Well, if they win tonight, it's over. I mean, they're not losing.
Yeah, this is a big game.
But I think this is a more important game. This game in particular is more important than for the Hawks than it is for the Sixers. The Sixers, I think, will win the series irregardless. I think if the Hawks have any any remote possibility of pulling off the upset, they can't fall behind to this team 3-1. I mean, there's no way on earth they come back from that.
I mean, Furkan Korkmaz did start the basketball game, thanks to Bob Brinkman in the comments for pointing that out. And that's the matchup you exploit if you're the Hawks, because you're going to have Herter or Bogdanovic on Korkmaz, unless they wise up. They should have started Matisse. I still think they should have started Matisse for defensive purposes, but
they can bring him in off the bench.
Because now you got Curry trying to guard who's 13. Is that Bogdanovic? I think that's Bogdanovic. And you have Korkmaz out there trying to guard Herter. I would give the Hawks the advantage in both of those one-on-one matchups.
Yeah.
I don't know what Joe is. Joe is
a very strange play just now, but I mean, at this point, I mean, Embiid is basically clogging up the middle. He's making it very tough for the Hawks to get inside, and looks like he's controlling the boards. So I mean, the way this game is looking right now, if this kind of thing continues, I think the Sixers are going to have no problems.
Come on,
but what
happened to sets? You got to run a set.
Oh my God!
Slow down and run a set. Give the ball to Ben. Give the ball to Ben. You better make that fucking shot. Ball to Ben. You got to run a set. This is playoff basketball. You can't just run up and down the court, especially with the Atlanta Hawks. You're going to lose. This is how the Atlanta Hawks are built to play basketball.
Well, they like it a little chaotic because they can beat the Sixers down the court. They have a better chance to score. I mean, the major issue here is that Embiid inside is just very, very. It makes them very tough to guard to do anything with. I mean, he gets himself in there, and it's almost impossible to do anything. I mean, the Hawks have to shoot from the outside, and I know that if the Sixers do a good job guarding the perimeter, then they win the game easily. I mean, it just looks like from where I'm sitting, that's going to be the key. I mean, they've got to try to at least do something on the inside and keep them honest. See, now Joel Embiid is on the outside now.
You can't have that. You can't have Joe picking up fouls like that. You can't have him on the perimeter guarding Trey Young. Trey Young's going to draw a foul every time. That can't happen. Then you have your best player, one of the best players in the whole NBA, in foul trouble. And if he's in foul trouble,
if he's going to go outside, Rob, that opens up the inside. And as I said, if Joe's going to be inside, clogging up the middle, that's where the Sixers are going to have a huge advantage because the Hawks can try to penetrate, but when he's there, it changes their offense. It makes it very hard for them to score. He alters the angles of the shots, and that's the whole thing. He can't let them sucker him like that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to anoint Rudy Gobert as the best rim protector in the league. I mean, are we sure it's not Joel Embiid? Also, last thing I'll say about
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. At least I just think listen, we haven't seen a real dominant center in the league in a while, and I think people forget just how difficult it is to beat a team that has a dominant center. And if he's going to play, I mean that's a key element in the game.
But I mean, I want to see Rudy Gobert try and guard Trey Young for 40 minutes.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
If he goes out there and does that, then I'll eat crow and I'll say he's the defensive player of the year. But until he does that, Ben Simmons is the defensive player of the year. 4 minutes to go, and the 4 minutes, 28 seconds left in the first quarter. 12-12. Low scoring. Lids on baskets all the way around.
I think that's to the advantage of Philly. I think they're better off in a low scoring game.
Let's get to some comments here. I'm sorry, we didn't go to commercial. We're still with them. We'll get you back to live reactions in a second. We'll get the fans involved here like we always do. By the way, here at A2D Radio, you can now be a exclusive member of A2D Radio. $9.99 a month. You get some amazing perks, including shout-outs, members-only shows, appearances, and weekly picks from the Money Pot Podcast. Join today. Tom Arnone, he agrees to the poll. Sixers are the better team. I hope I hope Tom's right. Brendan Mulligan, he agrees to the poll. Mike DeAndrea agrees to the poll. Mike Marshall thinks the game's over in 5. Thinks the series is over in 5. Rob shouldn't be allowed to talk about the Sixers. It's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but you were forming your opinion based on
because I thought Joe was gonna push out and not play.
But he's out there and he's giving it his all, and he's been effective. So the injury, you'd never even know he's injured the way he's playing right now.
I don't agree with. But Joe at 70% is better than 90% of the league anyway. He's supremely talented,
and a big time intimidator underneath the basket. He just makes it very, very difficult for the other team to penetrate. Again, we haven't seen this kind of a center in the NBA in a long, long time. A guy that can do it on both ends of the floor. We've seen plenty of centers who can score but can't play defense. Okay, and then we've seen centers who can play defense but can't score. But a guy like this that is dominant on both ends of the court, we haven't seen this in quite a while. At least it's Duncan, Robinson, Duncan, those guys.
Yeah, I mean you get Shaq.
Right, but this is what we're talking about right now. He's playing on that kind of a level at this point. And again, it's very hard. It's very hard if you're the other team, if you don't have a center that can play physically against them. I mean, it makes it very, very difficult. And it's not like Clint Capella can line up from 3 and drop 3-pointers and make Embiid go out there and try to guard him. I mean, that's the one thing if they play the Bucks that he would have to do, because Brook Lopez can shoot from the outside, so he would have to guard him. That could open up the middle. But I still think they seem to always own Milwaukee. They have, at least when they're healthy, they've always been a team that handles.
It's tough. It's tough to even go off season series anymore because these guys rest so much and they're hurt and you're not playing with a full deck. So if the Sixers get by Atlanta, and I still think it's an if, because I don't think this is over by any stretch of the imagination this series. And if the Sixers do win this series, they'll have earned it over a team that everyone, including myself, around the city of Philadelphia has underestimated in the Atlanta Hawks. I did at the beginning of the show. I underestimated them. And I disagree. Then I disagree to the poll. So I don't know how to feel about this series.
I disagree.
I don't know how to feel about this team.
I disagree to the poll because this game is a desperation game for Atlanta. They absolutely have to win this game. They can't. If they lose this game, it's over. They're not winning 3 straight against the Philadelphia 76ers. It's not happening.
Furkan Korkmaz, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Seth Curry started the basketball game for the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't agree with that starting lineup at all. I'm starting defense over offense in the playoffs. I'm starting Matisse Thybulle, and I'm bringing Furkan off my bench.
And right now, Trey Young is not scored. He's 0 for 4. And, the longer he doesn't score, the monkey could grow on his back. So, these are the kind of games that –
I mean, he's going to get –
yeah, but these are the kind of games, Rob, where great players, your best players have to be great. If you're a Hawk fan, and you're going to need a huge game. See, a play like that when Embiid's under the basket, you can't even make a layup because it's intimidation. I mean, that was an intimidation miss.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
That's and again, what I'm saying is, we haven't seen this in the NBA really since Tim Duncan, as far as intimidation like that. And then at the other end, when he's got the ball, he's almost impossible to stop. I mean, and again, dominant centers win NBA championships. You can look it up. Okay, the only dominant center that I could think of that didn't was Patrick Ewing because Michael Jordan won them all. And then when Michael Jordan didn't win them all, then Hakeem Olajuwon, who was, by the way, a dominant center, won the other 2 because he happened to be the one center that was better than Ewing. So, that Shaq. If you look, Shaq won a bunch of them. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Jabbar won his share. Wilt won 2 or no, I think Wilt won 3. I mean, it's
Bill Russell.
It's not a coincidence. The great centers always win championships. I mean, it's not again, Wilt had to go up against another great center, Bill Russell, but Wilt still won some. Didn't win that many. Because the Celtics just had too many great players. But now the Sixers defense seems to be airtight. They're knocking balls away.
There you go.
3, and he drains it, and now it's a 5-point lead, and now the pressure is going to continue to build because Trey Young still hasn't scored, and it's going to get the monkey is going to get harder and harder on his back if he doesn't score. And another miss, and guess who gets the rebound, and guess who alters the shot?
But I don't think Joe has any points either, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but he is completely intimidating the Atlanta Hawks inside.
Boy, Matisse is really developing as a slasher.
Yeah,
he's really developing as a slasher.
It is now a 7-point lead, and there is Trey Young's first basket.
Back to 5. No, I think that was Bogdanovic.
Oh, that was Bogdan. Was it? I thought Trey Young shot that. Okay.
I could be wrong. Ralphie checking in. Sixers missing Danny Green big time. I don't think they're going to miss Danny Green big time if Matisse keeps slashing to the basket like that and Korkmaz comes off the bench and stretches the floor. Gives you that energy. And if Seth's going to make step backs like that, like he's Kobe Bryant, then, Sixers in 5. Easy.
I think if I'm the Hawks right now, you need to talk it over. I mean, it's getting to that point.
That's not a good shot.
No, it's not. And that's not the guy.
That's not a good shot. Who shot that? Capella?
I believe that isn't one of the guys you want shooting.
No, give the ball to Ben. Yeah, they're not defending. They're not defending at all.
The Hawks right now are completely disorganized. And
because they want to run. They want to run. All they want to do is run.
Well,
that's not Philly what wins.
Philly right now is getting there's a
that's an M1. I hope that's not on Joe.
That's Bogdanovic, I believe. Yep.
But I hope the foul's not on Joe. Oh, George Hill's in the game great. He's been a total stiff the entire series. I mean, he really needs to step up. I was really excited for the Sixers to add him. I thought he was a great add, veteran ball handler, and he hasn't done.
One thing is abundantly clear. Okay, Embiid, when he's out there, especially defensively, completely alters the game for Atlanta. They can't do anything when he's out there, and Atlanta continuing god-awful foul shooting.
As Joe gets a blow, gets the ice pack, heat pack, whatever he's got on his knee. Yeah, Dwight Howard's in the basketball game.
It would be smart if Philly rested him for till about 8 minutes to go in the second quarter if they can get away with it.
They should get away with it, but they're not. The Hawks aren't making any shots, and the Sixers are starting to make shots.
Yeah, well, they just got the foul there. See,
why can't he just stand straight up and down? He's got him on skates. He's retreating. It's going to be a foul every time. By the way, the refs, not only in this series, but all the series across the playoffs have been atrociously horrendous. They should be ashamed of themselves. The refs in the NBA are horrible, and they need to really take a look at things in this offseason because it's nonsense what they're letting these guys get away with and what they're calling.
Did you not think that was a foul in that last play?
No, that was a foul because Dwight didn't establish firm position, and he's going to get any average player is going to get that call every time. But I don't know. I'll point out as it happens what I think.
That play, Rob, epitomizes the difference between Embiid and everybody else. Okay, when Embiid is under the basket, they don't get to make these plays where they can go to the basket and not be intimidated. They're not intimidated by Dwight Howard. Okay,
No,
but
there's Trey Young's on the bench right now, getting
and it looked like
body armor.
Looked like something was going on with his shoulder.
Getting body armor attached to his arm. Jimmy Rodweller, what's up, boys? Unless John Collins shoots 75% from three again, Sixers in 5. Wilson's in the house. Mike Marshall's in the house. Jesse Davis checking in on YouTube. Trey Young shoots the Hawks out of games. Steph Curry wannabe. Trey Young's pretty good there, Jesse.
I don't think that that's true. I think Trey Young's a pretty good player.
Yeah, ask the Knicks. Ask the Knicks if he shoots the Hawks out of games.
Yeah, that's not true. The difference is when Embiid is out there, he can't go to the basket, okay? Because the ball just gets swatted away. So he's got to, if he drives down the lane, he's probably going to be passing because he's not going to be, if Embiid is already in the paint, he's not going to get around. The only way he gets around Embiid is if Embiid goes out to guard him. And he did it one time, and I don't think you're going to see him make that mistake again. And look at this.
Wow. That was a hell of a defensive play by number 17 on the Hawks there. I don't know. Is that Capella?
No, I think Capella's 15, isn't he?
Well, whoever that was made it.
That was a great play.
Unbelievable play. Who is that? Solomon Hill?
Sixers sending a message in the first.
Well, we had 28-20, end of 1. But, Brad, this is a developing story with Trey Young because Trey Young is on the bench with a huge ice pack on his shoulder. I mean, Brad, it doesn't look like he's going back in the game anytime soon.
Well, we don't know. We don't know if he's just resting and they put the ice on him the same way they're doing that with what they do with Embiid, or if he just got injured. Has he been iced like that before when he rests?
Not that I remember seeing.
I don't remember seeing that. That's
Yeah, but it took him like 3 minutes to wrap his shoulder up. Were they going to put it on for him? It takes him 3 minutes to put it on. Were they going to take it off in a minute? I mean, I think he's hanging out on the bench for a while.
Oh, I think you're going to see him on the bench for at least half the second quarter.
Unless they're playing, they're going to put Trey Young back in when Embiid goes back in.
I don't know. That I don't know. I mean, I would think that when Joel Embiid comes out of the game, I would think that it should be open season for Trey Young to get in there.
True, but I mean, the guy can't play 48 minutes.
No, he can't. But I mean, he kind of has to play like 42 if they're going to win this game.
Mike Marshall, Sixers with 3 players who made all defensive team. I know that came out today. I didn't peek at them. I would assume Ben was a first teamer, Joe was a second teamer, and Matisse was a third teamer. But good for Matisse. He's really blossoming as a player. Proud of him for making an all-defensive NBA team. That's big.
I mean, defense wins championships in the NBA. There's no question about that. But again, the dominant center thing, Rob, I can't stress enough just how crucial that is, because it just hasn't been seen in the NBA like this to this level really since probably Tim Duncan.
James Jackson, checking in on YouTube. Appreciate you checking us out, James. He noticed that the foul Joel Embiid committed on Trey Young might have been a little rough on Trey Young's shoulder.
Could be.
Joe's 275, 7 foot tall. So, I mean, that landed on your shoulder.
Could be.
Might not be too comfortable.
It didn't look that bad, though.
I mean, we see things all the time in sports that don't look bad and turn out to be bad, and things that look awful that turn out not to be serious at all. So, I mean, you really can't.
No, it's hard to tell, but I'd like to see where I mean, maybe he's been playing, and we're talking about Trey Young now. Maybe Trey Young's been playing with an injured shoulder, and nobody ever mentioned it.
Also a possibility.
I mean,
it didn't look very hurt though against your Knicks. So it must have happened in this series sometime.
No, because nobody on the Knicks really leveled him out. I mean, that's kind of what happened there. But Right now, they're doing a good job. I mean, he didn't. I don't believe he scored any points in that first quarter.
Let me bring up the
I
box.
don't, unless that one, he may have made that one. That one may have been him. I couldn't tell if that was him or Bogdanovic, but he's not. He hasn't been a factor at all in this game.
Really close. I'm really close to just telling George Hill to just pack his shit and go home. Did he forget how to play basketball? Or is he just washed and bad and wasn't as good as of an addition as I thought he was going to be? He has been terrible this series. Now Tobias is on skates. It's a good recovery. The Hawks are not making enough shots. I mean,
no, they're not
making enough shots. There's been a lid on the basket. I mean, they should be licking their chops with this 5 on the floor for the Sixers. No Simmons, no Embiid.
Well, they're playing. I mean, they had that was a good defensive series on that particular possession, but they got to start scoring. And there's an air ball. I mean, it's not.
I think Milton might have gotten a piece of that. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. Milton's right there closing out. Milton's a good defender.
Wow, no foul?
George Hill ain't getting that call.
Looked like
George Hill ain't getting that call. He's George Hill.
I understand that, but I don't care who it was. He got mugged on that play.
Well, I don't think he got mugged. I'm fine with a no call right there. I'm fine. That's good officiating. In my opinion, let the guys play. Let it get a little chippy. I like that.
There's a real nice block. There's a real nice block by Dwight Howard. See, they can't right now. They can't.
Nobody's getting boards without Joe in there. Dwight gets a board there, but I mean, you can't give up offensive boards to Bogdan.
I mean, in a game that, in my opinion, is almost equivalent to an elimination game, the Atlanta Hawks have come out very, 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 very slow. I mean, it's hard to believe that they're shooting this badly right now. And even when the Sixers' top players aren't in the game, they still are not. They still can't get a basket. And the Sixers are getting to the rim and doing what they have to do. So it's either they don't have to make tough shots. The shots they're getting are easy shots, and for the most part, Atlanta is getting one and done, and they're not making their shots. I mean, there's no question about it.
They're missing bunnies.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, you know what? The Sixers have a chance to stretch this lead in the first half, and if Atlanta gets themselves straightened out, it's going to be such a long comeback the way it's going that they may not be able to do that. So right now, the Sixers are in the driver's seat. Be patient, like the way they're playing now. Do these sets, get to the basket, and like that, and get easy shots, and they're doing that right now.
It's a long time that been out of the basketball game.
And now Atlanta's going to call a timeout, but I mean, at this point, it's a double-digit lead, and the Sixers on the precipice of blowing this team out. So we'll see. It could happen. I mean, I was expecting a lot more from the Atlanta Hawks tonight. I thought it would be an all-hands-on-deck type of a game, and they would come out juiced and try to put a little pressure on Philly. It just hasn't happened that way. So, and if Philly's going to continue to maintain this lead, they're going to keep Joe on the bench and not pushing him. They're not going to have to if this is going to continue. And if he does come in the game, he's going to be well rested, and they're in big, big trouble now. I mean,
Young has 0 points, 0 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 3 from 3. He does have 5 assists in the basketball game.
Yeah, but you know what? Trey Young has to score. Getting a lot of assists is not gonna win the game for Atlanta. Trey Young's got to score. I thought he had to score 30 points tonight in order for them to win this game. I mean, if it's going to be a tough, physical, low-scoring game, the Hawks have no chance.
Like, what did he average against the Knicks?
It felt like he averaged about 50 points a game, but I think it was more like around 30. But keep in mind, the Knicks are a very good defensive team, but the one weakness they had was at center. Okay, and they did not have an intimidating center. I mean, their guys. Whether Mitchell Robinson unfortunately was injured, so you had Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson out there, and those guys gave it their all. But the problem is they just weren't strong enough to control Capella. But Capella, at the same hand, is not strong enough to contain Embiid either. So it's the same situation on both ends. I still maintain that if the Knicks had Mitchell Robinson, I think they could have won that series. I think that was a big difference. I mean, they didn't have a rim protector, and Robinson can also score a little bit too. I mean, those other two guys they don't score. Nonetheless, right now the Sixers are in the driver's seat. It's up to them now to put down the hammer and have this Hawks team reeling at halftime. Because right now the Hawks.
I put Ben in after this timeout, and I try and dust them.
Yeah, I mean this is the time they look like they're ready to be put to sleep right now because they can't hit a shot. I mean, if the Sixers keep doing what they're doing, this could be a 20-point game. And quite honestly, I don't see the Hawks coming back. I don't care if they're at home. I don't see that happening. Unless
the Hawks are currently 7 for 33 from the floor, 21%.
Yeah, it's like 20% just about.
2 for 11 from 3. That's 16%, roughly. So they got to start making shots. And if I'm the Sixers, I'm putting Ben back in, and I'm trying to dust him. Keep Joe on the bench. You can keep Joe on the bench for a little while longer. Dwight Howard's playing good, and Joe does have a torn meniscus, so you're up 10.
I think Doc Rivers knows what he's doing, guys. I mean, I know he took a beating after game 1, but he's been around the block long enough to know what he's doing. So, and again, the Hawks are chucking. It's almost like they're chucking and ducking here instead of trying to go a good shot.
These are mid-range, easy shots that are just bricks.
They're not making those shots.
It's good hustle by Dwight. Then he threw it away. God damn it, Dwight. But this is what I don't like about this. The Hawks, Trey Young's not in. They're shooting like shit. They're playing like shit, but they're hanging around. This is where I need the Sixers to step up and be big boys and bury this team.
It's only a matter of time. Young is back in the game. What's that thing around his shoulder?
I don't know. It's like this medical tape. I don't know.
Yeah, he obviously he's got a bad shoulder. I mean, no question about that. Was a nice pass.
Hanging around. I don't like it. Chris Dunn, what the hell is wrong with Embiid? I mean, do you not watch SportsCenter? Do you not watch SportsCenter? Do you not know what's going on? He's a torn meniscus, and what he's done the first 3 games of this series on a torn meniscus is unbelievable.
So they don't need to push him.
Mr. Wing, they aren't calling many fouls. Yeah, they are letting them play. It seems like I have the volume on in the background, very faint, so I can grasp what's going on in the basketball game.
Boy, that was a cheap foul.
That's a foul? I mean,
that looked like a cheap foul. When I saw Hill practically get thrown into the floor, and something like that gets called, you're not wrong about some of these officials. I mean, that some of these calls are just flat out.
They're horrendous. NBA officials are horrendous.
Yeah, well, they've been getting worse and worse by the night. I guess the big question in the Milwaukee Nets series, they're showing that they're playing tomorrow, is Harden going to be able to play tomorrow? I
don't think they can win a game with just Durant.
No,
Irving's out.
Well, he hurt his ankle. I don't know what the deal is with him, but I would
He left per Adrian Wojnarowski. Kyrie Irving left the arena in a walking boot and crutches.
Oh, he's probably gone. So probably they'll probably Harden will probably try to wrap it up to go out there and play. I would think, but I mean Durant can't beat that team by himself. I mean that's impossible.
Yeah, it's hanging around. Like they're playing like complete dog shit, and they're down by what is that? 6?
They're down by 6. Yeah, but
That's concerning. That's concerning. If I'm observing this game from a Sixers perspective, the Hawks are playing this bad. Trey Young is icing the shit out of his shoulder. Hasn't done anything. Trey Young has 0 points. They're down by 6.
Yeah, but the Sixers just seem like they're in complete control of this game right now. And here comes Embiid. Looks like he's ready to go. So he's going to be coming back in the game.
There's Elton Brand.
And he comes. I mean, he just looks like when he comes walking in, it's almost like here comes the Tasmanian devil to put you to sleep.
Elton Brand walking around the sidelines with a purpose. Looks like he wants to check in. EB.
Well, now what's going on with him? He just was he in the locker room just now?
I don't know what's going on with Joe.
I mean, he just came walking back. I thought he was going to come in the game. There's Trey Young's first basket, by the way.
Joel Embiid looks like he's in pain. He didn't play. How many minutes did he play?
8.
He played 8 minutes. He didn't really. He wasn't aggressive. He just kind of looked like he was going through the motions.
Now it's down to 5. And there's
Brad,
a silly foul.
Yeah, but Brad, the Hawks aren't going to shoot 20% from the whole game.
Yeah, here he comes. Looks like is he going to come in the game or is he going back to the locker room? He's going to come in the game, right?
No, he's coming in the game.
Yeah, then you know what? That's they listen. The bench did their job. They kept the lead. I mean, okay, so the Hawks were able to go from 8 points down to 5 points down. Big deal. Now he's back in the game. That means no more inside shots. That means altering shots. Embiid has to be smart and just stay in the low post and not go out and guard people. Make sure you don't let anybody drive down the lane. I mean, see how he alters these shots. That was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. That was a great. I mean, you can't stop a team from scoring when you can't totally stop a team from scoring. But now the lead's 3, so we'll see.
Yeah, but my fear is that the Sixers missed their chance to bury this team while they were shooting 16% from 3 and 20%.
I do agree with that. I don't like Embiid shooting that shot, but okay.
I don't, but he made it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it either. But every time I say that I don't like him shooting threes, or every time it leaves his hand, I say it and it goes in. So I gave up.
It was a good look though. I mean, you have to give him that.
And I don't know if he's healthy enough to bang in the post and get to the foul line.
There's another shot by Trey Young that's short. I mean, that shoulder must really be bothering him because when he had those kind of shots against the Knicks, he didn't miss. And the tear, these teardrops that he's trying to shoot are just not.
He's grimacing. Look, he's grimacing after that shot. Joe's in pain tonight. Joe's in a lot of pain tonight. I think anyone with half a brain and even a little bit of a basketball IQ can see that man is in pain tonight.
No, you look at his face. I mean, listen, all the credit to him to be out on that court. I mean, he's not a guy that's soft. Nobody can say that about him anymore.
Don't leave your feet. Don't leave your feet.
Not only that, he probably wouldn't have made it anyway. The way the Hawks have been shooting, I mean,
Just stand there with your arms up. These guys leave their feet 40 feet away from the basket. What are you doing? I would find every guy that leaves their feet more than 20 feet away from the basket $500 every time they do it. $500. Tyrese Maxey, you owe $500
to the kid.
That's a stupid foul. You're going to get that call every time. That's the way the NBA works these days. It's just the way it is, and you give him 2 free points because it's Lou Williams, and any perimeter player is going to be pretty good at foul shots. It's a great pass by Joe.
Nice pass by Embiid.
Great M1.
And the N1. And one
that's
thing
good. That's aggressive Ben. That's aggressive Ben cutting down the lane.
Ben Simmons inside is
like, look at this. They double Joe.
That's a great pass. I mean, that's a great pass. I mean, Embiid really can do it all. I mean, he's a spectacular player. Spectacular. I mean, honestly, watching him play the center position, he's one of the best centers I've ever seen. I've been watching basketball a long time. I mean, I could easily put him in a category with guys like Kareem, and Hakeem. He's that good.
And there's Trey Young.
And now it's 38.
Hawks down 3. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Hawks down 3. They played like complete garbage.
Well, you know what? The Sixers did have a chance to put them away, and they didn't do it. But they're being smart now. Give the ball to Embiid, and again, the unstoppable center can almost score at will, and that's the equalizer. Anytime the Hawks go on a run, you slow it down. You try to get the ball inside to him, and then that's it. And what kind of a stupid ass play is that in a playoff game? Trying to be fancy like that? I mean, come on. What, are you kidding me? What a dope. Trey Young has to realize he's not playing the Knicks. There's a center out there who's going to deny you that play every time. Throwing the ball off the backboard just so that you get on Sports Center is just kind of silly, and that's what that play looked like.
Oh, it is Sixers ball. Okay. So you're gonna call that away from the ball like that? Like, let him jostle. Like, let him.
Well,
let him get chippy.
But there may have been something that was, you don't want to let it get out of control though. I mean, we didn't see what was going on, but there could have been something that was flat out ridiculous.
Now I'm sorry, they're not in the penalty. Side out for the Sixers.
But again, now for Joe to come out and get the ball that far from the basket,
no, I don't like that at all.
That's a turnover waiting to happen. Somebody has to move and get the ball.
Look, you got to get
below post.
No, get the ball to Ben.
Let him have the ball out there. Give him the ball out there.
Now they double. That they've been doing that when he takes the ball out there, Brad. Have you noticed that? They started doing it in Game 3.
Yeah, but if you get that kind of rotation and that kind of passing, and they're playing good ball. They're playing pretty basketball. And here's a chuck by Young, and he makes it. So again, they're staying in range. But you know what? Again, Embiid in this game is almost unstoppable because when he gets involved, they can't do anything.
The bias is on fire. His bias is on absolute fire.
Right now, they're back up by 8 again.
Ever since he got snubbed for that All-Star team, Tobias has been unbelievable.
That was a walk. I mean, how do you take 2 steps without dribbling? I don't really understand.
They all walk. They don't call it traveling. Wow. If he's gonna be loud.
I mean, it's unstoppable. That was the Hakeem special. That shot, Rob. That was what Elijah wanted.
A little dream shake.
Yep, that was the dream. That was the Hakeem shot. Going in and then just falling back and shooting and having the height advantage, and nobody could do a darn thing about it. And now it looks like the Sixers are back in charge again.
It's a good foul by Atlanta. I mean, Joe is about to dunk it. At least make him go to the foul shot and foul line and make him earn it, even though Joe's an outstanding foul shooter.
What is Trey Young crying about now? Yeah, he's really a crybaby.
They're all crybabies. It's the NBA.
No, he's a jerk off. I don't like that guy. As far as I'm concerned, you guys could beat him up as much as you want. That little bow he took. If that was the old Knicks with Oakley and Ewing and Mason and those guys, he would have been on his ass for doing that.
He just got teed up. That doesn't help.
Yeah.
That doesn't help your team.
Yeah, I don't know what he's complaining about. Oh, jeez, they missed the technical shot. Oh well. He's got to shut up. He's going to end up getting himself thrown out.
No, he's not going to get tossed. They're not going to toss him. Unless you. I mean, I guess he said the magic word. I mean, I've seen guys argue way worse than that and not get teed up.
It sounded like they said something that he may have gotten poked in the eye or something, but you got to shut up. It's the playoffs. You can't be giving away points because of your big mouth.
Yeah, but he won't. Well, they missed the tech, so no harm, no foul. And Joe, top of everything that he does, he's a terrific foul shooter. He's 85% from the line.
Exactly. That's the other thing that he does extremely well.
Ewing was a good foul shooter, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like 78 to 80%. He was pretty.
And Hakeem was pretty good, right?
Oh, Hakeem was great at the line. Jabbar was really good at the line too. The only two centers that weren't good at the line, Chamberlain was horrible. He was just, he couldn't make a foul shot to save his life, and neither could Shaq.
Now they're back to blowing it open. Maxey with a big three.
Yeah, now they're up 15. Now they're up 15, and it looks like they're on their way now because Atlanta's going to have a hard time getting back. See, as soon as Embiid gets back on the court again, it's pretty much lights out. Now Atlanta is back to having to shoot deep threes. Not good. They're not taking good shots, and this is what happens. And now, nice pass to Simmons inside, and now it's a 17-point lead. So the Sixers looking like they're
going to get a timeout. They're going to get a timeout and talk it over.
That timeout should have occurred. Should have occurred when they got it back out to double digits. But look, the Hawks are just not as good as the Sixers, and they have no answer for Embiid. They can't. He's killing them both inside on offense, and he's killing them on defense. I mean, this is just a clinic right now that he's putting on.
I mean, look at the Hawks. Look at the Hawks starting lineup. I mean, it's just absolutely putrid. John Collins is 1 for 7 with 2 points. Clint Capella is 3 for 6. He has 6 points. He's a minus 20.
They don't have the size. They don't have the size, the Hawks, or the strength to play with this team. They can't get physical with the Sixers. The Sixers too big, too strong. And I hate to say that I think I'm wrong, but I don't see how the Hawks are going to win this game now. Again,
I mean, if they can get it to 10 or less than 10 before the half somehow.
Listen,
maybe they can get it together, but
not if Embiid is going to stay out on the. Listen, if they take Embiid out with at the 2-minute mark, maybe the Hawks make a little run and get.
I would sit him. I would sit him right now until the second half.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
I mean, you're up 17. The guy's clearly in pain. And his meniscus is torn. Right? Give him a blow. Go to the locker room, ice it up, heat it up, whatever they're doing.
And you know what? Let him come out to start the third quarter to make sure Atlanta doesn't get on a run. Put him out there for like the first 4 minutes, and then rest him as long as you have a double-digit lead. You rest him. You bring him back if they get closer. I mean, that to me would be the smart way to go. He's playing at such a high level tonight that every time when he's on the court, Atlanta just has no answer whatsoever. I'd be curious to know what Joe's plus minus is right now. If anybody,
now here's it. I have it right here, actually.
Yeah, if somebody has
the whole lineup is the only player who's minus is Dwight Howard, and he's minus 3. Joel Embiid to plus 20. Curry's a plus 20. Go.
I mean, that's how. And we're talking about what? How many minutes does he play tonight? 8, and he's played about 13
minutes.
15.
He's up to.
How many minutes?
15.
Yeah, in 15 minutes, he's a plus 20. And I mean, again, that just shows you both. On the front end and on the back end, the guy is dominating the game. If he's going to continue to play at this level, there's no way the Hawks are going to even be competitive the rest of the night.
Now, Jake Friel says that Trey Young is overrated.
He's not overrated. He's not overrated.
Well, how is he rated, first of all? He's not a top 10 guy in the league.
No, he had a great series against the Knicks.
He's a gunner. He's a gunner. If he gets hot, he can light you up for 50 and win you a game. But, I mean, I think Trey Young is properly rated. I mean, I don't think anyone's out there screaming for Trey Young to be the MVP of the league or one of the best point guards in the league. Luka's better. Kawhi's better.
He's very good, though.
I hate Chris Paul, but Chris Paul's better. James Harden's better. So, like, I don't know. To say he's overrated, I get where you're coming from because, like, he's not doing much right now. They get a quick 2 out of the timeout. Every time they
nice pass.
Down.
Looks like is Embiid out of the game again? He must be out.
No, he's right there. 21.
He's out there.
But, like, Durant's better. Kawhi's better.
Yeah, they should be double teaming him right now. When he starts backing in like that, I mean, they can't stop him. I mean, the way he backs in, I mean, that's the way he backs in on guys and backs guys into the basket. I mean, that's kind of like Shaq used to do. Now they're double teaming him, which is good, and he just shoots over them because they don't have the height to alter his shot. I mean, he's just such a force and such a factor out there. They just can't do anything to stop it.
See, it's such a late whistle. I mean, Clint Capella just got shoved to the ground, and like takes him like 3 seconds to call anything. Like,
yeah. Well, that's the officiate. They're letting them play, but they should let them play. It's a playoff game. Let the players
let them play the whole game, though. Don't get ticky tack in the second half. You know what I'm saying? Be consistent.
Yeah, and now the coach is resting guys, which is a very smart move. Now they get the ball down low and nice.
It's a really good move. I can't figure out John Collins. Is he good or is he not good? I have no idea. I thought he was good coming into the series.
Who, Collins?
So
He's a good player.
He doesn't get any rebound. I don't know what he's not rebounding in this series. That's for sure.
No.
A little too cute. A little too cute right now. Or are they just going to make a 3?
Wow.
That's fine.
I mean,
he's been on fire.
These guys are just playing lights out basketball right now. And Trey Young trying to go 1-on-3 under the basket with all the trees. That's just not smart basketball.
Little heat check there by Matisse. I'd like to see them work clock there a little more, get a better shot.
But again,
Bogdanovic.
You can't be.
A minute left. I mean, if you're the Hawks, you got to really play. You got to play hard. You got to force a turnover maybe. If you can be down 10 at halftime.
Well, that's going to be smart.
You got a puncher's chance.
Oh, that's a smart foul. Put him at the line.
Very smart foul. Very smart foul.
Problem is you can't be fouling guys in the last 2 minutes on purpose. So
that wasn't the hack-a-ben on purpose stuff.
No, but they did go out and foul him because they were beaten.
Ben, come on, bud. Come on.
But
I'm one of the most positive Sixers fans regarding Ben Simmons, but I can't defend him missing foul shots at the rate that he does. I mean, like, come on.
He's a good inside player, but anywhere from 10 feet from the basket and further, he's not. Then
he misses both. Like, come on, make one of them at least. Jeez, oh man. Like, does he think is his ego so overblown that he thinks he doesn't have to practice foul shots?
I don't know. I don't know what his practice habits are.
It's a really good take. That's a really good take by Kevin Herter right there.
Yeah, and the Sixers if they're smart now, they'll try to get a quick shot off so they can get the ball back.
Yeah, work the 2-for-1.
Right. Right.
Like run a set. Like get the ball to Ben Simmons to start the offense off the inbounds play.
And get the ball to Embiid. Get the ball to Embiid in the low post. And you're going to score whether he decides to take it himself or make sure or end up getting a wide open three because they have to double team him. I mean, that's what they need to do. Especially
their tendencies with these inbounds plays is to give the ball to Joe right off the bat, 25 feet away from the basket, which I don't like.
He's not gonna hurt you from out there unless you don't guard him. I mean, if you guard him out there, he's not really gonna. If there's not much he can really do out there unless he gets a wide open three. So I mean, he needs to get the ball like 10 feet from the basket. I mean, if he's gonna be out there. He can always. I mean, he can take a 3-point shot. Obviously, he's not a bad 3-point shooter. He can definitely do that. But I mean, he's more effective, I think, if he gets the ball about 10 feet from the basket. Or if they do a rotation play and he's out there chucking a three because he's wide open. That would work for him too. But he's got to get the ball on every possession. They can't not let him. He has to touch the ball on every possession, whether he's going to shoot or not. He doesn't necessarily have to shoot, but he has to touch the ball. Because if he touches the ball, it basically just the Hawks can't defend him. I mean, that to me looks like exactly what's going on here. What was that? Boy, they let these guys walk all over the court.
Steph Curry, I mean, Mr. Wing, checking us out on YouTube. How big has Curry been? He's been huge. He doesn't miss shots. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable.
He's been solid tonight.
And this is your first game without Danny Green in the starting lineup for.
Yeah, I think they played dynamite
months and months. There's see the Hawks. They're getting their legs now. They're making some shots, But I don't know if I think it's too little, too late. I mean, there's still a whole half left, so you don't want to say it's over. I guess Steph Curry. I just said he never missed shots, so of course he missed. 62-49 at half.
A 13-point lead. So the Sixers clearly in charge right now at halftime. And I think it would take a miracle for the Hawks to come back to win this game.
I don't know. 13, I don't know if that's miracle status in the NBA.
It's not, but you know what? The fact is that unless they figure out a way to slow down Joel Embiid and a way to score when he's on the court, they're in huge trouble. And as I said, they lose this game, it's over. I'm expecting much more, a lot more from the Hawks tonight.
If I'm watching this game from a 76ers perspective, I'm not comfortable right now.
How could you not be comfortable? They're ahead by 13 points, and they've dominated the game. I mean,
because I'm a psycho. Because I'm a psycho.
I'd be pretty comfortable if I was a Sixers.
But I'm not. But why aren't I? Why aren't I, Brad?
I don't know. But to me they look like.
Why do I feel like the Hawks are coming out in the second half, just gonna make a bunch of shots, and it's gonna be a game going into the fourth?
Listen, for the Hawks to win this game, they're gonna have to shoot. They're gonna have to shoot 50% from three. Okay, and right now they're not. Right now Right now they're shooting about 20% right now from three. So it's going to be awfully difficult for them. I mean, you haven't seen them put a couple of 3-pointers back to back in here to get close, and they're not doing it right now. So I mean, yeah, they could, but you know what? Again, the Sixers can stop that by just slowing it down and getting it to Embiid inside, and then he can bully his way. He can kind of Shaquille O'Neal his way to the basket and score. And if they can't, if he doesn't score, he'll get fouled. So I mean that's the whole point with a dominant center. Dominant centers cannot be stopped. We just haven't seen one in the NBA in a long time at this level.
Stu Vision, checking us out on YouTube. I said it Friday. I'll say it again. We're going back home up 3-1. Chris Dunn with this game, win this game and probably sit Joe next game. That I don't agree with because I don't think you win basketball games. I don't think you win games without Joel Embiid.
Yeah, that's a
like that's how important he is to this process, so to speak, in Philadelphia.
Agree. That's a very bad idea.
Because then you're probably gonna give one up at home with Joe on the bench, with Joe injured, and then you're going back to Atlanta for a game 6. And then if they don't have an all hands on deck game in game 6, if Atlanta gets to game 6 and comes out flat again like they did tonight, like shame on the Sixers for even being a game 6 or even a game 7, God forbid.
No, you don't want them to have to go 6 or 7. You definitely don't want them to. You don't want to see that happen. I mean, the more games they have to play, the more of a chance Embiid has of injuring his knee to a point where he can't be effective. Right now, whatever is wrong with his knee, he's still extremely effective. It has not at all affected his game. He looks fabulous out there.
Besides Berg's defense and bench free throws, I would say very good half. It was a solid half of basketball. Seth Curry played great. Dwight Howard played great off the bench. Matisse played great. Tobias played great. Joe did his thing.
Yeah, I mean, just watching,
sort of aggressive sometimes.
Watching him play, I mean, he's ridiculous. He's so good. As I said, you're looking at a guy who is clearly on the same level as a Patrick Ewing, a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're looking at that kind of a player right now. I mean, he may not be the same type of player as those guys, but he's at the same level, unstoppable. As a matter of fact, I think he's a little better than Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing didn't have the inside game this guy has. I mean, he's just you watch him and I just shake my head because he's so good.
Wayne Miller can't give them any momentum. I mean, yeah, you can't bury him out the gate in the second half and just coast. Don't lose focus at halftime and let the Hawks make a bunch of shots. There's Kenny the Jet Smith going to break some stuff down for us on TNT. Phenomenal best playoff coverage by TNT. You get Shaq, you get Chuck, you get Kenny the Jet, you get EJ in the middle directing traffic. It's awesome. It's funny. It's knowledgeable. It's a great pregame show.
Yeah, and they're pretty knowledgeable, I'll tell you.
Breaking down some stuff here.
Some baseball scores for you guys who are wondering what's going on in baseball. The Mets lead the Cubs 4-0 in the 6th. The Nationals lead Pittsburgh 2-1 in the 6th. Let's see what other the Miami Marlins and St. Louis are scoreless in the bottom of the 2nd, and those are your
a little light night in baseball. We got finals. Light night in baseball. Monday's usually a light night.
Yeah, but teams that affect the Phillies. That's what's going on right now. Looks like the Cardinals are threatening right now. And that's what's going on so far in baseball. Cincinnati has a 4-1 lead in Milwaukee.
And we look at like the rest of the NBA, the landscape. It looks like it's going to be Sixers, Bucks, Suns, Jazz. I don't think anyone's going to beat the Jazz. I think the Jazz might win it all.
I still have to go with the Suns. I'd rather, with the Suns.
Yeah, but Chris Paul's gonna mess everything up.
I think he's finally gonna do his thing. I think he finally gets to the top this year. At least get to the finals.
I mean Utah is making mints. They are putting it on.
Well, the Clippers won their home game last night, so they haven't. Nobody's broken serve yet in this series. It's not really. You can't sit and say anything's. There's anything crazy going on until somebody breaks serve. Once somebody breaks serve, and loses a home game, then that's when there's trouble. And again, this is where for the Sixers, this is where the killer instinct has to come in. You know, they have to go out there and they have to do their jobs and win this game. You win this game and you put this series away.
Yeah, and I think the biggest key to the second half is Ben Simmons. Is Ben Simmons going to be aggressive like he was in the second half of Game 3, and they're able to blow the Hawks out? Or is Ben going to be timid? Is Ben going to miss foul shots? Is Ben going to, have his head up his ass? Or, we need Ben. Sixers need Ben. I think Joe is in pain. I think Joe is in pain.
I don't think that the Hawks can win this game because they don't have an inside game against this team. You know, they can't score when they get the ball inside. You know, I mean, he's such a big factor, and it's so difficult for them to do that. They have to make that extra pass when they get the ball down low. And I mean, to score, nobody can just take the ball right to the basket and score against this team right now. And that's pretty huge. I mean, that's kind of that is the difference right now.
Big time. I mean,
I'm sitting here and I'm watching the Cardinals and the Miami Marlins right now. And the Cardinals, I can understand why the Cardinals are good, even though some of their hitters are really not that good. They are just a very fundamentally solid team. You know, they do everything that they have to do. They can put down the bunts, they move runners over, they hit in the clutch. You know, they may not be a great team, but I could see why they're a winning team this year, in spite of the fact that I don't think they've got a whole heck of a lot of talent on that team.
what do the Hawks have to do to get back in this game?
They are going to have to be able to get inside and make some inside shots. And if they can make some inside shots, then you know what, and they can try to tire Embiid out and make him work. Maybe they can free things up to get outside, because right now Embiid is being so good underneath that the Hawks aren't able to draw double teams. They're not getting real good looks. I mean, the Sixers right now are playing dominating defense, and I mean, I know the Hawks aren't shooting well, but I would give Philadelphia a lot of credit. I think they're playing very good defense right now.
They are.
I mean, that's really what's going on here. I mean, when you don't have an inside game and you have to solely rely on threes, how the hell do you expect to win? You know, that's very hard to win like that.
Look, you got to stop Trey Young at all costs. You can't let him beat you in the second half. You got to put Ben on him. You got to lock him down. If John Collins or Clint Capella or Herter or Bogdanovic or one of those clowns wants to beat me, they're free to do so.
Yeah, I think you also have to get physical with him. I think getting physical with him would really be a plus. You know, I mean, obviously his shoulder's banged up. He's not healthy. Make his life miserable. Make him pay when he goes inside. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
forearm across the collarbone, something like that.
No, I'm not saying to play dirty. Just
I mean, you can foul hard and it not be dirty.
Yeah, just play him hard. You know, get physical with him. Get in his face. You know, push him a little bit. You know, get into his chest a little bit. Make his life miserable. You know, I mean, he's hurt, and we'll see we'll see what kind of character he has. When you're losing and you're injured. You know, I mean, I don't think that he's tough enough that he can go out against a real good team when he's hurt and getting beat up and win the game for him. Because ultimately, he's going to have to do that, and I don't think he's got it inside him to do that. You know, I think he's one of those bully players that when things are going great, you know, he can be great, but when the chips are down and it starts getting tough on him, I don't think he's got it. And I don't think he can take over the game. as I said, Embiid being out there stops the inside game. And that's obvious just by watching this game, just by watching the first half. They are not able, the Hawks that is, to set up inside and get shots inside. Everything is a battle for them. Even the three-pointers, how many really wide open threes have they had in this game?
Yeah, the ones that they get are
they've had a few good looks, but for the most part, most of their threes that are contested. And three-pointers are not that easy to make to begin with. And if they're contested, it's almost impossible to make a three-point shot if it's contested. Obviously, these guys are professional basketball players, and they that's what they get paid to do. But it's not so easy to make a three-point shot when you're being guarded tightly. That's a tough shot.
Chris Dunn, Hakeem, and Shaq equals Embiid.
Who?
Hakeem plus Shaq equals Embiid. So I guess
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't quite go that far. Again, I think Embiid is definitely on Shaq's level. Hakeem was a better player than Shaq. Hakeem was a really well-rounded player. Hakeem could make long-range shots. He could play physical if he wanted to play physical. He was and he was Defensive Player of the Year a few times as well. So I don't know about that. I think I would put him on the same level as Shaq. He's got to win a couple of championships first, though, before I actually would put that. But I could put him on the same level. But again, he's got to win a couple of championships first.
The Hump at Rye checking in. Clint Capella not even in second defensive team is a bit unfair. Maybe Clint Capella is what he is. Rudy Gobert is the
player,
first.
But he's not on that level.
Yeah, but the first team center is Gobert because he wins Defensive Player of the Year every year for whatever reason, and Joe is the second team defense. Of the second team center, I should say. Who won? Let me see who's on this team. I got an alert, but I was in such a rush to get done work so I could come home and do the show. See if I can get it here real quick. I can't. Kawhi Leonard made the second team for the 7th time he's came to that. Boy, Kawhi Leonard he's a hell of a player, man. When it's regular season and doesn't mean anything, he's nowhere to be found. But as soon as those lights come on in the playoffs, man, he is a bat out of hell.
Who's that?
Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard is a money player. He's proven that over his career, and he's got the rings to show for it. So we'll see. As I said,
all defense, first team: Ben Simmons, Drew Holiday, Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Okay, I guess that's fair. Second team: Bam Bam, Jimmy Butler, a couple of Heat guys, Joel Embiid, Kawhi Leonard. Wow, Matisse Thybulle made second team. Wow. Good for him.
That's pretty impressive.
I guess they don't even have a third team. Wow, Matisse with that's he's going places. Second half just about to get underway. Flight zones coming up at 9:30. Take you through the second half. We'll take you a few minutes into the second half here. Then we'll hand it over to Flight Zone. Sixers going to get the ball here to start the half. It looks like Sixers are going to get the ball here to start. Got to choke them out.
Yeah, well, now's the time to step on their neck and finish them. And we'll see what kind of adjustments, if any, Nate McMillan was able to make on in this with his Hawks defense.
I don't know how good of a coach
I don't know.
he is.
I don't like that. I don't like that set at all.
It wasn't a set. They didn't run a set. They ran.
Well, they ran a play for 3
They ran
minutes.
Furkan off a baseline,
I don't like that play at all.
and then Furkan gets a silly foul. I'm sorry. He should not be starting. He should not be starting the basketball game. He should not be starting the second half. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't agree with that coaching move at all from Doc Rivers. At all. If this was a regular season game, I could see starting Furkan to spread the floor and spacing, but you gotta play bully ball. You gotta get some defense in there in the playoffs.
Right away, they get a wide open 3.
This guy
So
Bogdanovic
the Sixers need this is a big spot of this game because if the Sixers
killing us. You can't give him signs of life. You can't give him signs of life.
Yeah. See, now that was
defense. Joe just missed. They were fortunate to get that rebound. Clint Capella should have had an easy offensive rebound there, but
see, they still can't get still can't make the big shot, and there's a big dagger by the Sixers now to get it back up to 12 again. Yeah, but again, they're not making these threes. They're 1-3 now.
That was a sweet crossover, though. It's a walk. I mean,
boy, I mean, I don't get it. Why do these officials allow walks like that? I mean, that's embarrassing that the way they let that stuff go. I mean, I wonder what they consider traveling, taking five steps.
See, now this is what I mean. I don't even know.
Oh, that's not a shooting foul.
I don't think that's a good call.
That's not a shooting foul. He wasn't shooting.
Well, for him to just draw this contact and just throw up some circus shot and say it's a shooting foul, that's nonsense.
That was not a shooting foul. And you know what? The big baby got his basket anyway, so.
4 of 14. Yeah, 10 assists. He's not shooting well. 4 of 14.
He's shooting 27% from the field. Or no, 28% from the field. So
he can fill it up quick. So
yes, he can.
Let's keep an eye on him, and
he better. See, now that was a.
See, now look, the Sixers are coming out flat. Like, this is what drives me nuts with this team. Every time you want them to step up and put the foot on their throat, they come out flat. Awful set to start the second half, and now, I mean, Tobias hit a shot. Now here's Herter. It's a good look. I mean,
yeah, but you know what? The thing is, they're not able to get rhythm threes. Like, they have to be dribbling the ball around and then pick it up and shoot.
That was a rhythm. That was a rhythm.
They're usually, they get the ball, they catch and shoot instead of trying to make a move and then shoot a three. Whenever you do that, you're not really getting that. It may appear to be a good look, but when you're taking a three, you want to be able to step into the shot. Like,
I mean, he bitches all the time, doesn't he? I didn't realize he bitched this much, Trey Young.
Well, he does, and Trey Young, by the way, that was traveling too. You can't move your pivot foot. Once you pick up the ball, you cannot move your pivot foot. And
that was a good look. That was a good look inside.
That was a nice play. But the Hawks have fought their way back.
Like, this is what we told the Sixers not to do. Which is why this team is frustrating as all hell to be a fan of. Super frustrating.
See, they're not getting the ball to Embiid on that play, but that was, again, they made the shot. That was key. You know, Curry has been lights out in this game.
3 of 5, 3 assists, 15 points. Let him take that. Let him take that all day long.
Yeah, that was a chop.
Oh, he just dribbled it off his foot. Come on.
I'll tell you what, he's been money tonight, Curry.
All right, we got Flight Zone coming up about 9:30. That'll do it for this edition of the Sports Hounds. He's Brad Ryer. I'm Rob Brickman. Huge shout out to Frank Vesby for producing the show. Thank you to everyone who commented, liked, shared the show. Until next Monday.
Good night, everybody.